Why is it important for a Kenyan or an African for that matter to add a USD assets to their portfolio? First and foremost, generally speaking, over the last 10 years, African currencies have depreciated against the dollar by an average of 40 to 70% average. When I started investing in Ghana, that is probably 2009, 11, thereabout, the CD was almost 1-to-1 with the dollar. Today, the Ghanaian CD is at about 16.87. 16.87. That kind of value erosion over just slightly over a decade, it is not something that is even fathomable. And especially if you've had money inside Ghana. When I started investing in Nigeria, the Nigerian naira was at 150 to the dollar. Nigeria was the only country that I knew in Africa that had a positive fiscal budget. They did not need to borrow. The money from oil was more than enough to take care of their budgetary needs, and remain with some more. In fact, they didn't even need a bond market. Today, the unthinkable has happened. If you want to exchange naira for dollar, you'll have to give up something close to 1,700 naira to get $1 from 150. Now, I want you to imagine somebody who was worth 1,000,000 shillings or 1,000,000 naira those years when I used to go there, when I started going to Nigeria. To date, that million is worth nothing, absolutely nothing. It's peanuts. So African currencies have generally tended to depreciate against the dollar. And therefore, we as responsible people, captains of our families, captains of our companies, industries, we really need to think about this. We are generally net importers, meaning we will always be demanding dollars. And that tells me it's important for everyone to hold a portion of their portfolio or their investment in dollars. So the first reason why everybody should hold some of their portfolio in dollars is not even return, is capital preservation. I happen to sit in a board in Ghana, one of the companies in Ghana, one of the well-to-do companies in Ghana. And we meet on a quarterly basis, and I get to see how they manage their cash flows. And largely, their cash flows have been held in dollars. Now, the last 2-3 years have been so difficult in Ghana in terms of currency depreciation. But guess what? The return that has come from the assets that are held in dollars, it's been the last 2-3 years have been some of the best, actually the best years of the company. So let's revisit that question. Why should everybody hold some money in dollars or some assets in dollars? Because African currencies, and Kenya included, were generally depreciating against the dollar. And therefore, if you think about 10 years from today, what if the Kenyan shilling will be trading at 1,000? And I don't want to be a doom's prophet, but what if, the big if, it happened to Nigeria, which was a much stronger economy than ours? It can also happen here. It has already happened a little bit, but it can get really worse. So everybody should hold, I say, 5 at least to 10% of their portfolio in dollars, just to start with. Not necessarily so. A few years ago, one of my friends approached me and said, my son is in high school and I foresee him going to study in the US. And they asked me, can you design for me an education portfolio that will help my son to go through the years in the US where I will not have to remove money from my pocket? So we put together an investment plan, and they followed it, to the letter. In fact, better than what we had even anticipated. So he's a good friend of mine. I saw the son finish high school. He got into soccer and was, in fact, scouted and ended up in the US, courtesy of his footballing skills. But they still needed to pay some part of the money in dollars. And recently, this friend of mine came and told me, Pius, I'm so thankful for you and Nabo Capital, because every time my son comes here and is going back to the US, I never have to touch my salary. I just come to Nabo Capital and you send money to my bank account and I pay the school fees without even thinking twice and without changing my lifestyle or even feeling disrupted or inconvenienced. This is not somebody who was earning in dollars. This is somebody who was earning in shillings, but they just anticipated. So that is one reason. You may want to take your child. Your child may actually excel in academics and ends up in the US or in any other country. Whichever country you go to, you will need some dollars. On a day-to-day basis, I have seen, a lot of Kenyans are actually buying things on Amazon. They are doing vacations. Even when you go to next door here, Uganda, guess what? You have to go with dollars, not even Ugandan shillings. When I travel to Rwanda, Tanzania, guess what? I go with dollars. You want to have some dollar wallet somewhere. And therefore, it's important that everybody, whether you earn in dollars or not, that you make some investments in dollars. Hold some dollar assets. You see, if you earn or trade in dollars, especially if you trade in dollars, and you're in Kenya or you're in any African state, it means at some point in time, you need dollars. You need dollars. And because of the fluctuations in local currencies against the dollar, if you hold the dollar, it means you do not have to worry about the exchange rate for that day. Yeah? So it is important that you are able to match, we call it matching your assets and your liabilities. I know I have a bill of $1 million or $5,000 or $50,000 coming up in 3 months or in 10 months. If I have it today, then I don't have to worry about the exchange rate for that day. So it's important to know what fraction of your expenses is in dollars. So that's another very strong reason why you need to invest and hold assets in dollars.